where X marks the spot. And this mountain, this tree stump, is the source of the Amazon and the Orinoco. And the Orinoco connects with Israel. Can you imagine this tree at full life, full breath? How many tribes were protected and nurtured by this tree? The type of fruit this tree was given. The protection. NoraKovitz.com, selling for eating, Columbus and the medieval search for paradise. He's just looking for paradise, man. Yeah, Columbus even eventually turned west, reached modern-day Trinidad. Shout out to my Trinity Nuggets, man. Toward the end of the 15th century, the idea of an earthly paradise in a real geographical location somewhere in the east was still very much ingrained in public imagination. Paradise was believed to be inaccessible as it was situated on top of a very high mountain. So they looked at paradise as being on a very high mountain. But now we in low altitude neighborhoods, right? We off the mountain, right? Thus, Columbus's conclusion of sailing upwards led him to the belief that he was advancing towards paradise. Because we are going to higher altitude. That's why they say this land of America popped out before other lands, because it's at a higher altitude than the other lands over there. Which lets us know as a body bag that this is an older world than their world, because our land is higher than their world. And it popped out the primordial waters before their world popped out the flood waters. And the islands, Hawaii and all these islands, are just the peaks of mountaintops that are underwater. From old Atlantis, the mountaintops are the islands. That water goes back down after the flood, you get the old kingdoms. But the highest elevation is what we're living on right now. And this is why they call it India Superior, God. This is where Prester John is seated, man. We're talking Mount Nebo, Machu Picchu, 8,000, 9,000 feet up. We're talking Asia Major, Cathay, Paradise. Paradise is paradise. This is their map of their world, huh? The Epsdorf World Map, splendid example of medieval ideas of paradise, possibly made in Epsdorf in northern Germany, dated between the late 13th and early 14th century. The Epsdorf World Map depicts the Garden of Eden as an event place at the very boundary of time and space. And they always put like Jerusalem in the middle, you know. Very similar when we look at the David Rumsey map. There ain't no ice. And you see these 4 openings. What's in the center of the Tootsie Pop, man? Where X marks the spot, man. Where X marks the spot. Finding himself approaching the mouth of the Orinoco River, Columbus was amazed by the vast quantities of fresh water flowing into the ocean. Contemporary depictions of paradise imagined a great river near paradise, the source of the four paradisical rivers. The four rivers of paradise flow directly to this north. In the center of the map, this is where your compass points as north. No matter if you're over here, no matter where you are, your compass is always going to point towards the center. And when this tree of life was cut, oh man, the flood waters are the bitter waters from the tree of life in the center. And all these trees are connected by the roots and the caves and the underwater systems. The four paradisical rivers that connected earth and paradise, this together with the fertility and beauty of the land, they sailed alongside, convinced Columbus that he was on the outskirts of the actual Garden of Eden. When he came over here, around Trinidad, around Venezuela, Aruba, right? Orinoco, Amazon, Marna, amazing, Amazon. He knew he was connected with Ama, the actual Garden of Eden, as he wrote in his log. And all this provides great evidence of the earthly paradise. He wasn't over there looking at the earthly paradise. He came to America. He came to India Superior. All this provides great evidence of the earthly paradise because the situation agrees with the beliefs of those holy and wise theologians. An encounter with this blessed land, inhabitants swept away all remaining doubts. Canoes came to greet them. Columbus noted the finely proportioned people who wore pearls and gold on their necks and arms, and who heaped the explorers with gifts of maize, that's that corn, that real corn, fruits, and tame parrots. The inhabitants seemed to have no sense of private property or ownership. They gave everything freely, huh? And then you hijacked these knockers. Something that amazed the European navigators beyond measure. Although not new to Columbus, these parrots seemed significant. In Latin Christian theology, all animals could speak before the fall. Now, they were on the very doorstep of Eden. Talking birds appeared. This is a Christianity golden age, because now they could steal more land, spread out like parasites, all in the name of Christianity. All in the name of invading Saracens and pagans, then put us in perpetual slavery. Perpetual slavery. Perpetual. Put the copper color in perpetual, never ceasing, continuing forever in future time, destined to be eternal. As a perpetual covenant. So we're fighting for our perpetual covenant. They're fighting to keep us in perpetual slavery. We're fighting for perpetual covenant, right? The same covenant I have sworn unto David my servant. I have made a covenant with my chosen. This covenant, right? Forever I will establish your seed. We got a forever, perpetual covenant. They want us to have no inheritance, no covenant, and be in forever, eternal slavery. David, my servant, with my holy oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. My arms also shall exact strength from him. Right? The protection of the Creator, the enemy shall not exact from him, nor the sons of the wickedness afflict him. And I will beat to pieces his adversaries before him, and smite them that hate him. But they that hate him have lifted up their haughty eyes, haughty-eyed Charles. But my forgiveness or my faithfulness, Shalak, and my mercy shall be with him, and through my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand also on the sea, but they stole the seas. Man, they stole the islands, the lands, harbors, and the seas. But David's hand is on the seas and his right hand on the rivers, right? The paradisical rivers. And he shall call unto me, you are my Father, my power, the rock of my salvation. Who is your salvation? Who is your Savior if it ain't the Creator? I will appoint him my firstborn. Who's the firstborn son? Who's the highest of the kings of the earth? The symbol of the Grail is a symbol of authority and the traditions which are inherited. It is part and parcel of the legendary Prester John, the legend of whom was spread widely in the Middle Ages. I'm reading out The Medieval Empire of the Israelites by Robert Grisham. John was the master of a huge empire. He was omnipotent and all-powerful. Kings and czars were for him only subjects. Tractatus Pulcherimus calls John the King of Kings, Rex Negus. The King of Kings, man. He combines in himself spiritual and secular authority, and he can say about himself, Prester John, by God's grace, Lord of all the lords, who are only beneath heaven, from the rising of the sun to paradise on earth. In all the medieval sources, Prester John controls and holds back the tribes of Gog and Magog, and controls the seen and unseen worlds. Now we're talking about the King of Kings. The highest of the kings is the King of Kings. The highest of the kings. They had to visit the kingdom of Prester John just to be legitimized as rulers. Now the Pope took over that responsibility. Hijack City, the real Prester. The real Pope is the real Prester. King David, who they call Great Khan. Mysterious, miraculous stories. He is the Khan father. House of the Khan is the Batu Khan, which became the Vatican. Khan, they changed the B's to V's, right? One letter rule. Horace Butler, take the wheel. Man. Okay. So the Godfather is the Khan father, the Great Khan. House of the Khan, Batu Khan. King of Kings. All powerful. Highest of the kings of the earth, I will appoint him my firstborn. Look how they switched that around to Jesus. Now if you're anti-Jesus, they're going to come take your land. But if you believe David is the firstborn, forever I will have mercy. Keep my mercy, and my forever covenant shall stand with him, and his seed will I endure. I make to endure forever. Oh, but there's no more seed. We washed out now. Is the Creator a liar, or is there a seed, not a spiritual seed, an actual physical seed of Prester John? Right now, man. That's on a warpath right now, man. Fought against Genghis Khan. Fought against the Christian hijack, the Muslim hijack. We're talking covenants, right? Forever covenants. They want to put us in forever slavery, eternal slavery, perpetual slavery. But they knew they found the Garden of Eden. They knew they found the old world, the promised land, Great Cathay, Asia Major, India Superior, Grand Tartary. They know they found the immoral cows. And I'll leave this link from aelarson.wordpress, 1492, The Conquest of Paradise, Trouble in Paradise. The Conquest of Paradise. I mean, that says it all right there. They are invading paradise. What's Ishmael doing? Ishmael is invading paradise. Straight up. Straight up and down. Ishmael's invading. Using the Fort Wayne Treaty. 30 million acres. Illinois and Indiana. Turning Nagas against Nagas over who's going to keep what land, slicing and dicing up paradise, and all these other treaties, Treaty of Greenville, going with it, man. All this land, the Shawnee, they excluded the Shawnee from negotiations, and the Shawnee, you know, that's who Tecumseh is rocking out, the Shawnee, man. So they thought they can come over here because of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco, but I thought Morocco's being set up right here. Morocco and America by the Wabash.